doesn't understand. If Mom had died 15 years ago, he wouldn't have had to quit his job. The house would have been sold. I would have bought a car and paid off my debts. Mrs. Miller, in all my years on this bench, I've heard lies and selfish arguments. But your callousness today is rare. You don't just want money. You want to trample your brother's dignity. You call his sacrifice failure, his devotion incompetence. You wished your mother died sooner for your own gain. You are a disgrace to family.
Serena Miller, sharp-eyed and determined, was suing her older brother to force the sale of their mother's house. Their mother had passed away just a month ago, leaving no will. By law, the house, her only significant asset, had to be split equally among her 6 children. But Michael was living there, and Serena claimed he was holding it hostage. Mrs. Miller, Judge Carter began, her voice calm but firm, "You're suing your brother, Michael, to force the sale of your late mother's house. She passed away a month ago and left no will. Is that correct?" Serena's voice was steady, almost rehearsed. "Yes, Your Honor." Without a will, the law says the house must be divided equally among us 6 kids. But Michael's living there and refuses to cooperate. He's illegally occupying our shared property. Michael sat across the room, weathered and quiet, his hands clasped tightly as if holding himself together. Judge Carter turned to him. "Mr. Miller, is this true? Are you refusing to sell the house?" Michael's voice was low, hesitant. "Your Honor, I'm not refusing, I can't." "Can't what, Mr. Miller?" The judge pressed, her tone sharpening. "Speak clearly." The courtroom seemed to hold its breath as Michael spoke, his words heavy with years of burden. 15 years ago, when Mom got really sick, my siblings were all off living their own lives. I made a choice. I sold my own house in the city, quit my job at a tech firm, and moved into this house to care for her full time. Silence fell over the room. Serena shifted in her seat, her lips tightening. Judge Carter leaned forward. "You sold your own house and quit your job?" "Yes, Your Honor." Michael replied. "I couldn't work and care for her properly at the same time. Because of that choice, I never started a family. For 15 years, my life revolved around Mom." Serena leaned forward, her voice sharp with disdain. "Your Honor, that's a touching story, but it's just an excuse. Plenty of people work and care for a sick parent. Michael's just incompetent. He failed at his career, couldn't hack it in the real world, so he clung to Mom to live rent-free for 15 years. Judge Carter's eyes narrowed. "Living rent-free. Mrs. Miller, your brother cared for a bedridden woman. That's a job with no days off." Serena didn't back down. "So what? That's the price of his failure. The rest of us were struggling, raising kids, paying bills in this expensive city. We sent money, hundreds of dollars at a time. Who knows what he did with it? Probably squandered it and blamed Mom's illness." The judge's expression hardened as she turned to Michael. "Mr. Miller, the money from selling your own house, what did you do with it?" Michael's voice trembled. "Your Honor, every cent of it. And all my savings went to Mom's medical bills, medications, and special care over the years." "All of it?" Judge Carter asked. "Yes," Michael said, his voice steadying with resolve. "And I even had to borrow from friends. I'm in debt now." Judge Carter leaned back, her gaze shifting to Serena with disbelief. "Mrs. Miller, did you hear that? Your brother sold his house, gave up his career and a chance at a family, and spent every penny on your mother's care. He's in debt. And now, 1 month after her passing, you're demanding your share of this house." Serena's defiance flared. "That's not my problem. I have my own family to take care of. At least I'm responsible for my husband and kids, unlike someone who's done nothing with his life. We have rights too. Judge Carter's face tightened. Rights. Let's talk about rights. Mr. Miller, if we sell this house at market value and split it 6 ways, what would your share leave you with? Michael stared at the floor, his voice barely audible.
Your Honor, after paying off the debts I took on for Mom, I'd have nothing. Probably not even enough.
Speak up, Mr. Miller, the judge commanded, her voice rising. The court needs to hear you. Michael looked up, his eyes red.
My share would just cover the debts, Your Honor. I'd be left with nothing. I'd have nowhere to go. I'd be homeless.
Serena scoffed.
Homeless?
That's his problem, not ours. He's 50 years old, not a child. If he ends up on the street, that's the consequence of his own failures. We've waited 15 years. We're not sacrificing our rights for his incompetence. Judge Carter's eyes blazed with fury. She leaned forward, her voice low and steely. So this is what you want, Mrs. Miller, the law you're invoking. You want to strip the last roof from your brother's head, make him homeless, after he sacrificed everything for your mother. Is that your intention and that of your other siblings? Serena shouted, her composure gone.
He doesn't understand. If Mom had died 15 years ago, he wouldn't have had to quit his job. The house would have been sold. I would have bought a car and paid off my debts.
The courtroom gasped at Serena's raw, ugly words. Judge Carter's face was a mask of disgust.
Mrs. Miller, in all my years on this bench, I've heard lies and selfish arguments. But your callousness today is rare. You don't just want money. You want to trample your brother's dignity. You call his sacrifice failure, his devotion incompetence. You wished your mother died sooner for your own gain. You are a disgrace to family.
Michael's voice broke with anguish. Enough, Serena! You're not human anymore. Judge Carter slammed her gavel. The court rules as follows. Mrs. Miller's request to sell the house is denied at this time. This court recognizes Michael Miller's contributions and financial sacrifices as a debt owed by the estate. An expert will be appointed to calculate the reasonable costs of the care he provided for 15 years, plus all funds he spent from his own assets and the debts he incurred. This substantial sum will be paid to Mr. Miller from the house's value before any division among the heirs. If the house's value doesn't cover it, the others get nothing. Judge Carter rose, her robes sweeping as she exited. Michael collapsed into his chair, sobbing openly for the first time. Serena stood frozen, her face pale as the weight of the ruling sank in. The Miller family case is truly haunting. It was not merely a legal battle over property, but a horrifying clash between filial devotion and ingratitude. The image of Michael, broken as he recounted his sacrifices, only to face the most vile, heartless words from his own sister, lingers. Judge Carter's ruling that day was not just a mechanical application of the law, but a judgment against filial betrayal, an effort to protect justice and conscience. The case stands as a bitter reminder that while the law can divide property, it can never heal the wounds inflicted by those closest to us.